What is up, everybody? Hi. Hello. Welcome back. It's been a hot sec. We had some holidays. We had chaos. We had a lot of things. But this is episode 8 of Chirping on Causeway, brought to you by Boston Sports Entertainment Network. You can find BSEN on Twitter and Instagram at BSEN_617. You can find our podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Causeway Chirps. My name is Emily. You can find me at Hyper Emmy.
My name is Liv, and you can find me at Frederick on Twitter.
And life is crazy.
Yeah.
So we've had 2 weeks off, but a lot of things have happened. We've only won 2 games in the last 2 weeks. Yeah. I took 8 inches off of my hair, so I'm doing way better than the Bruins are. Liv and I got to do something really, really fun and cool last Saturday with Something's Bruin podcast. And we are really grateful that we got to be a part of that.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, so they did a round table during the game with against Toronto, where basically every period they had another podcast on to commentate during the game. I'm pretty sure you can watch that live stream on their Twitter and their YouTube. So thank you to Something's Bruin and Primetime for letting us be a part of that. It was great. It was so fun.
Thanks, besties.
Yeah. What else has a lot of stuff has happened. Let's go the bigger news though. Let's start with contract extensions. Well, we only have one.
Yay.
Plural. But Slick got renewed for 3 years.
I'll actually admit that's an awesome. I'm happy with it.
I'm
glad we did that.
Stoked.
We needed him, honestly.
Yes. I think he and we said this actually on Something's Bruin the other day, but he adds some grit that we don't have otherwise. Yeah. And that fourth line when they are on, when it's him, Beecher, and Kopke, when that line is on it, they are on it. They read each other really well. I'm just looking up his stats. He's played 41 games with us this year. He has 12 points so far, 8 assists, 4 goals himself. I think he has become one of those players on our team that is protective and he fights when he needs to, but he's also not throwing punches left and right just because. He's really intentional with those times he decides to protect the guys. I think he's a really great addition and he's really fed into Bruins hockey really well.
Yeah. I think especially since we got him obviously from Ottawa, I think he was happy to come to obviously an original 6 team, but a team that people have different opinions on, but obviously this season isn't a great giver either, but I feel as if people would think of the Bruins as more of a cup contender in the near future than Ottawa. So I would assume that he's excited to come here and obviously happy to be here because he extended. And I think he did say in an interview that Boston felt like home to him very quickly. So, and I do he's a Bruin. I think there's some people that you're they're just a Bruin. And I do think that Kaslik is really what we needed. And also, I say this all the time, but he's a perfect fourth line guy, but not as a diss to him.
Yes.
Some people are just, people want to say fourth line this, fourth line that all the time, that it's a bad thing, but sometimes
somebody has to do it.
And that makes a team sometimes. If you don't have 4 complete lines, or even if you don't have a bottom line that can kind of pick it up or add some spice or energy when you do need it, then you're not going to do well. That was our problem for the past 2 years, was that we didn't have a fourth line, really. fourth line had no identity, no consistency, no.
It's like our third line currently. We keep swapping it out and nothing's happening. But this fourth line, like, he's the QB on this fourth line.
Yeah.
You can also tell there are moments when this fourth line in particular and Castlick in particular, they change the momentum in the game. Like times where that line goes out and you feel the shift happen.
Yeah. Like there were games where they were the only ones. I was like, they're the only.
Yeah. The first 15 games of the season, they were the only ones that showed up.
Which was, I'm like, play them the whole game at this point because they're the only ones trying to do this right now. So
yeah,
I am very excited that we extend him. It came out of nowhere though. Like it was literally a random.
So random. I was expecting a trade announcement. Yeah. We came out of the Christmas break and I was expecting trade announcements left and right, to be honest. I was just waiting for everything. And then that's the first announcement that is made. That announcement and Chara's IIHF Hall of Fame announcements came out the same day. And I was like, I don't know what's happening.
Right. I was just like all over the place. I was like, what is this Friday?
I feel like I think it's really good. And I think it's interesting that that's the first contract renewal of the year.
Yeah, I don't see like a little nervous, but.
Yeah. I will say that I was very hesitant with him coming to the Bruins. I was definitely somebody that was not happy with that trade.
Me too.
I think part of that is just like the emotional attachment a lot of us had that came with that trade. Yeah. But I'm really hesitant because I haven't really followed the Senators, so I like wasn't really aware of his gameplay, I guess I could say. But I think he's truly like made a really great impact for this team. And I like to see it. Like I think even off the ice, you see it in interviews and social media and stuff like that. Like he is a Bruin for sure.
A good presence. Like we needed a person who's just a solid ride or die, you know. I'm happy we locked him up because and it also was not even that much money. I heard 5 years and I was like, 3 years is kind of like, you know, a little bit of time. And then I was like, but what, like that's not
1.5 for 3 years. I was expecting more, honestly.
Me too. I thought when I first read it, I wouldn't have thought it was that low. I think, honestly, when I read it, I think my brain went to 3.3, and I was like, oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Like, whoa. Yeah. But then I went and I checked it again, and I was like, it's only 1.5 and some change.
What his current? I'm going to look up his current contract really quick.
But yeah, I agree with that I was not the happiest with the trade at first. Only because, too, I guess, you know what, guys, don't believe everything you read online. Because everyone was like, this is going to be the worst. He didn't have a good rep, like, online. Everyone thought he was kind of going to be, like, a throwaway player, per se. But he was all wrong.
He's only at $835,000 this year. So that's a pretty substantial contract. That's almost a double in his contract.
I don't hate it. Like, give him the money. I wouldn't have thought he was.
Now that I see that, like, that is a great contract for him.
Yeah. Good for Mark.
I'm glad we're keeping him.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, he was on a 2-year contract at $835 for cap hit.
Wow. I didn't think he was that low.
And he would have been an RFA.
Oh. So then why did we restricted free agent? Why did we not want to fix our unrestricted? It's fine.
Great question. Yeah, so he'll be unrestricted in 2028. He'll be 29 years old then.
He's younger than I thought. I will put that out there. I thought he was older.
I thought so too.
Thought he was closer to 30, and he's only like 25. So.
And he's from Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah.
See it.
Yep.
We love it. Hockey belongs in the desert. Total side tangent. If anybody was paying attention to the Arizona shenanigans this week, The like the let me find. I just retweeted it. The commissioner has been talking to the city about bringing hockey back to Arizona. Maricopa County Board of Supervision's chair has been meeting with Gary Bettman to work on identifying a new owner for the Arizona franchise, because the previous owner, whose name I can't even remember, who screwed up Arizona hockey, when this last land purchase didn't go through after they got moved to Utah. He had one more chance to purchase the land. It didn't work out. Whatever. He gave rights to the Arizona Coyotes back to the NHL. So Maricopa County, which is where Phoenix is working with Gary Bettman to identify a new owner and a location for Arizona hockey. So you know me, I love Arizona hockey. I lived there for 2 years. I truly believe there's a market for it if you have somebody that really cares about it. I feel like it's like when the Red Sox went through that string of really crappy owners who didn't care about the Red Sox, and we just like had weren't putting any money into it. Kind of like that situation. But
see, so I want to know where else they would extend. Like, since we're kind of on the topic of that, like I want to think of what other, I'm trying to think of the map right now to think of what other states.
I was just looking at this recently. Houston is one of them. Atlanta has gotten brought up.
Ooh, Atlanta could be good because Georgia, it's not like they have one. Like Texas, you could argue they have Dallas, but I know Texas is huge.
And we have a lot. So for those who don't know, I live in Panhandle, Florida. Yeah. So like the closest teams to me are Tampa, which is 6 hours from me, or the Preds, which is 8 hours from me. And we have SPHL, which is below ECHL. We have an entire league down here. We also have a lot of ECHL teams down here and like a smattering of AHL throughout the area. So like this part of the country is set up to support more franchises if we could. I think Atlanta would be a really great place. Yeah. I feel like Atlanta had a bid at one point, maybe not. This article last year said Salt Lake City, which is where Utah currently is, Houston, right. Atlanta, Quebec City, which
that makes sense.
I would love to have one. Oklahoma City.
Okay.
And another Canadian team.
I say put a team in Montana or Wyoming. I don't know.
I really think so. My husband grew up in Nebraska, and the only sport he grew up with is college football. But they have the Omaha Lancers, which either is an NAHL or NAHL 3, like a high school development league. And they do well. And I think that in those markets where there is no other sports besides college sports, it's all the time. There's truly nothing else to do. If you market that correctly and you really build that message as like, here's something to do on your weekends, here's something to do with the family, you keep it an affordable game.
Yeah.
I truly think there is a market in the Midwest for more teams and more movement there.
I'm trying to think of the other states too. What other, like that? Yeah, that middle though, for sure.
Yeah, I would love a team. I say that as if I'm like living here forever, but I plan on moving in a year, so whatever.
I would like to see it. I don't know. Put it everywhere. This is off topic because this isn't even hockey, but Boston is getting a women's soccer team.
I saw that they're also getting a women's lacrosse team. And You say soccer or softball? Because they're getting like soccer. A softball team, I think, too. There's a third women's professional sport that's coming now, too.
And they also, onto the softball thing, also off topic, there's going to be softball in the Olympics, I think.
Yeah.
About that. Or, oh, you know what it was that I heard about, too? A women's baseball team.
Yeah, that's what it is. You're right. That's what it is. It's women's baseball. I'm like, there's a third professional women's sport. Did you also see that the soccer team, because of all the controversy about their branding, is highly considering / I don't remember. I just read an article about it on New Year's Eve. Yeah. They are going to be changing their branding and potentially their name because of all the controversy that came out with the Boss Nation name and their release, and how they didn't include any other women's professional sports in that original promo release. All of the backlash that came at them, they actually have taken and are potentially redoing all of the branding before they launch. And aren't they supposed to launch this year, though?
I think I saw 26.
Oh, okay, cool.
But okay, also I saw that controversy. I want to play devil's advocate right here, okay? I want to not defend, but like I think they just did it as a point of like soccer, a women's soccer league like the NWSL has not been in Boston before. When we had Boston Breakers, because I'm a soccer girl also, I grew up playing soccer. I played soccer my whole life, so I'm partial to soccer. I think I'm gonna like get us in trouble, but I think the point is to just be like, and I get it. Why would you not want to highlight the other women's like leagues? But I think their point was to just be like, women in sports, like women. Also, women's soccer is so much better than men's soccer. I think everyone would agree with that, though, because I'm sorry, women are falling and getting back up. Oh my God.
Did we talk about this a few weeks ago? I don't remember anymore. But like I grew up on hockey and soccer.
I think we may have done it.
I have such specific memories of like watching Mia Hamm. Like that was who I looked up to growing up. Like,
oh my gosh, yes. Like they were Abby Wambach was huge for me because that was more like my era. But one game, she literally split her head open, got stapled on the field, and was like, I'm good to go. Let me keep playing. If that was a guy, sorry, he'd be like, my face, I have to leave. Like, so but I'm just excited for the team to like. I don't care what their name is. I'm sorry.
No,
I was not personally like bothered by that. I was like, oh.
Well, and I see both sides of like their launch as well as like they truly tried to highlight like these are the legends of Boston sports, because it highlighted like Tom Brady and I don't know whoever, a bunch of legends from Boston sports, and it, like women. I mean, there's currently a professional rugby team, and then of course the Boston Fleet, but like there's not. There might be one other women's sport currently in Boston. It's hard to highlight like legends from Boston sports when women's Boston sports are fairly new. So I do understand that. I wish they had partnered with other organizations, but I love that they have taken accountability and have like worked with the community, because I read like the case study that they did. And they truly have like really taken what everybody has said and are trying to pivot with it. So we'll see.
Which is what you want also. Like the fact that they're actually listening, like that's what you want from everything and everyone, I feel like. They're paying attention.
Yes. While we're talking about women's professional sports, let's talk about the Fleet and Montreal Victoire in Seattle.
Yeah.
And puck drop being done by Seattle Kraken assistant coach Jessica Campbell, who played with like half of these teams and coached half of these teams.
I feel like we can do like a little applause for that, because that was great.
That was awesome. The PWHL is been so incredible. Right now, if you don't know, they are doing a tour where they are taking their 6 teams to different markets across the country for the next, like, I think it's 12 games. And they started in Seattle, which I think is incredible to have the tour start there with Jessica Campbell and just have it really ignite there. They are also looking at expansion cities for next season. So I think that really like helps feed into that as well. They're not coming to any cities in the South, which I'm kind of sad about, but that's okay. But their promotion of this is awesome. And to start it off, especially with Campbell coming out, doing the puck drop, she did like a pre-game speech with one of them and then did the roster lineup for the Fleet. And Jessica Campbell is absolutely incredible. Like, obsessed with her. But I think just the game in general, the game was also insane. Fleet won in overtime in a shootout. I think the PWHL has taken incredible strides with this being their second season. But with this tour, the way they just started off in Seattle, like, it's going to be a great tour, and it's been really fun to watch the PWHL grow within the last year too.
Like, I really wish, like, I'm a little jealous of the girls that are young growing up with this, because I'm 23. I'm almost 24. We had nothing even close to. Couldn't even envision. Women in hockey were almost the same idea as women in baseball and football when I was little. So to see it when I was little, you could only play with boys too. You could only play with boys. I had a family friend who, even in high school, back like the middle 2010s, had to play on the boys team. So she had her own locker room, like whatever. But also it was sad because she didn't even get fair playing time. She's playing with boys. Like,
my now sister-in-law and my brother have been friends basically their entire lives. She grew up playing hockey with my brother, and I don't know if she knows any of what I'm about to say, so I don't think she actually watches the podcast, so I might get away with this. But she played hockey with the boys on the boys team because there weren't women's teams. Graduated high school in 2006 for reference. But she played on the boys team her entire life. She had her own locker room. There were 2 girls on the team at one point, but she was just as badass as any of them were. And I specifically remember like looking up to her. They never dated in high school. They never dated until they were adults. But I specifically remember like looking up to her as like a badass girl that got on the ice with the boys. I remember one game though, she got checked pretty fucking good. And I remember like being so upset and wondering if she was okay, but I also would be that way about my brother, so whatever. But like I have these distinct memories of her playing hockey. When we were in high school, my little sister is 2 years younger than me, so she would have graduated high school in 2014. By the time we got through high school, our high school didn't have a hockey team anymore. It was like a regional, a few high schools had a team together. And then there's a separate girls team at this point, which is awesome. And one of my sister's best friends growing up played on the girls hockey team. And I remember her name is Ashley. And I was like, Ashley's a badass. Like, she's on a girls hockey team that didn't exist 8 years ago when my brother's best friend was playing. She had to play with the boys. And now there's a girls hockey team. And it's the only girls hockey team for like an hour radius of us. But from that to like now where we are and just like the awareness that we have of women's sports, I'm really excited for the future of like women in sports and women in hockey.
I agree. I hopefully, God willing, I have children one day. And if I have daughters, I'm very excited because there's so many more possibilities and opportunities that I didn't even think were going to happen when I was little. So it is awesome to see what the PWHL is doing. And it's I'm excited. I hope they extend to a lot of different places. And it's just good to have them. It's great to have that around.
Yes. So. Other milestones that occurred. Chara got into Hall of Fame for IIHF. I'm still waiting for his NHL Hall of Fame debut. But I think the IIHF is a great first Hall of Fame. I'm glad he's getting the recognition that Zdeno Chara deserves.
Right. When are we going to retire his number, actually, too? I've been waiting.
I would truly be surprised if we don't.
I would be disappointed, genuinely. Because what? Him and Bergeron, why? I've been waiting for both. I mean, obviously, you're not going to do both of them the same night because that wouldn't be fair. But I've been waiting for Chara first, obviously. Yeah. And then, what are we doing? I would have thought you would have had Chara last year during the 100th. Just thinking, but whatever.
At this point, all I have to say is it's the Bruins.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's true.
Oh, crazy things that happened last week. What?
I said, where do we want to go next?
Do you want to talk about? We can go a few different ways. So we can talk about Lysell coming up for one game.
Sure.
We can talk about the fact that we're on a 4-game losing streak.
We can.
Let's just list all of the chaos that has happened. Murchie went on an 11-game point streak, which is now gone. He has 1 point in the last 5 games.
Now he's kind of invisible again. Peace and love. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Pasta is on a 3-game point streak currently. 2 goals in the last game, 2 goals in the game before that, an assist in the game before that.
Yep.
I'm really liking it. We could go here. I'm really liking this Murchie Lindy Coyle line. And I know you were not happy with it at first. Slash may not still be happy with it. But I actually love the way this line is playing together when they have their heads out of their butts.
Yeah, definitely.
It's no, I still do not like this line.
No, it's fine.
Who have not been paying attention lately, usually Coyle is our center on our third line. About 2 weeks ago, he got called up to the first line. I don't remember if it was before our last episode or not, TBH.
It was before, because I remember saying he scored, but he wasn't even with them.
Oh, yeah. Well, he hasn't stayed there all of the last 2 weeks.
Right. They've shifted.
For the most part, he has been, and I really like that line.
So here's why I don't like that line. Listen, if anything, this is compliments to Coyle, because I do believe he can play anywhere, and he's just a talented hockey player. I just want to see him back on the third line so that he can have Trent.
Is it because he's a center, or because of the other options that we have for the third line don't create as strong of a line? I don't know if that question makes sense.
I think both, though. No, it does make sense, but I think both. I do like him as a center because I do think he's pretty good at the faceoffs, honestly. Yeah. And I just like him in the middle of the ice, if that makes sense. Trent is not our third center. This is my New Year's resolution to all of our viewers. I'm going to try and talk less about him and not be as biased.
BS. I'm going to call BS on that right now. While you're talking, I'm going to look up Trent's face-off. So I'm just going to look up his face-offs for lately.
I don't know. And clearly that's also an issue, though, is our centers. Down the line. That's an issue.
I mean, listen, we are currently tied for 5th in the league with the Senators for our face-off win percentage at 52.5%.
Okay.
So us both have that. So we're 5th in the league for face-off wins.
That makes me feel a little bit better.
Add that really quick.
That makes me feel a little bit better, honestly. I don't know. I feel like you have to keep it how it is. In the trenches. I am in the trenches. I just was looking at the comments. I'm always in them. I'm always in them.
His face-off percentage currently is 43.9. He's a negative 10. I'm so sorry. I know you already know this, Liv. I'm so sorry.
It's fine. No, it's fine.
Excuse me while I just...
Dude, I just, like, don't get it. Like, even if they're trying to showcase him as a center, you're doing a terrible job because it's going down. Like, his value is going down actively. Because
but he's not going to get traded now because he looks worse.
You know what? Actually, keep him there. No, keep him there. Matter of fact,
hilarious.
He's my favorite third-line center ever.
But listen, we've switched this third line around how many times in the past few weeks? And no matter what, the third line is like, oh, you want us to play? Runs away.
It was when, I think in the Toronto game, they did play pretty well together in the New York game too, honestly. And people online were roasting them.
For the Islanders game. We've played both of them in the last 4 days.
Right.
Rangers was Thursday. Islanders was last night.
Yeah, so the games that were on the second and the fourth, I thought the third line actually played very well. Not that I like that third line, but I also thought, I can see all of them. Like,
was that one with Wahlstrom on the left too?
Perhaps, maybe.
I'm gonna look at it.
1
minute. You continue.
I feel bad for Wahlstrom a little bit, just like a little bit, because he's been sat for like 2 or 3 games. They're not even trying to move him elsewhere. They're sticking this poor guy on this line that's questionable. It's not consistent.
Wahlstrom was left, Freddie was center, and Braz was right last night. That's how it was lined up, at least. Isn't Braz left? They also played that line the night before against Toronto.
And they're going to play it again tomorrow, like, without a doubt.
They played that with the exception... Oh, no. Thursday against the Rangers, it was Kopke on the left.
Oh, right. They changed that real quick, though, mid-game. Yeah. They changed that real quick.
Wahlstrom was on the right on fourth line.
Yeah.
I didn't like that.
Nope.
Isn't Braz usually left? Am I crazy? I might be crazy. Who knows anymore? I don't know, because we change our lines every 6 minutes. It's mid-game and people sat.
Yeah.
Poor Lysell comes up for 1 game, plays 11 minutes, and gets sat the last, period and a half?
Gets an assist, like, stripped away from him also.
And then you're like, no thanks.
Yeah.
I did relatively good. I thought he looked great.
I was like, let's keep him here.
And then they sat him, and I was like, am I crazy? Do I actually...
He's fast. I'm so sorry.
He's fast.
Braz is not fast.
Yeah.
Can we get someone fast?
Well, and let's talk about Lysell's little day that day. He practiced with Providence that morning.
Yep.
He got the call at 1 o'clock that he was playing in the game at 7 or 7, whatever. Hops in the car at 1:30 when he gets the call, drives up to Boston, and jumps on the ice. And then only gets 11 and a half minutes and gets sent back down. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I have a lot of opinions today, you guys.
I just don't understand. Okay, I guess I kind of do understand why they're not bringing up the youth right now, because there's moves they're going to make, because we need the space, technically.
Yeah, well, and the P Bruins were doing really great, and then it's like a Boston Bruins organizational thing that, like, God forbid we actually do well for more than, like, a few games at a time.
then it's gone.
And then we're just not going to show up.
Yeah.
You guys, I'm sorry. This episode is all over the place.
Okay, quick jump to tomorrow, though, to the game. I'm putting it out here right now. I'm going to be in the building tomorrow. I'm putting it out here right now that because we lost to the Islanders, which we technically should have won, and we should be losing to Edmonton, we're going to win. We're going to win that game. I'm going to go.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready for this.
I'm going to go Bruins win 5-2.
5-2?
Yep. 5-2.
I can't wait to see this clip on our Instagram tomorrow when they win, and I'm going to look like a psychopath for doubting.
We're going to win 5-2, and that's all I have to say about the game tomorrow.
I have no faith. I have no faith. We have lost 4 games in a row, folks.
That's why we should lose. You know what I mean? We should lose tomorrow. So I just go reverse.
Let's talk about the last 2 weeks' scores really quick before I'm gonna justify myself. So here's been our last 2 weeks while we are on a little breaky poo.
Yeah.
Monday the 23rd, 2 days before Christmas, we got a wonderful Christmas present. We won 4-1.
Against who, though?
We were going to lose that game. Exactly. Against the Capitals.
Exactly.
Who are number 2.
Exactly.
You know what? You might be talking me into this. Then we played the Columbus Blue Jackets back-to-back. We were there first, then we came home. We lost 6-2 the first night. Shut them out the second night 4-0. Then we went to Washington and we lost 3-1. That was the downfall. Then we lost to the Rangers 2-1. And I thought that game was so boring.
Yeah. We should have won also.
Yes.
What? That was another one.
We should have won that game and we lost. And it's not great. Toronto, we played them on... I put Friday, but wasn't that Saturday? It was definitely Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday.
We lost that game 6-4. We'll go there in a second because that game was absolutely freaking chaos. And then last night we lost in overtime to the Islanders. In our defense, we were down 3-1 at the end of the first. We were so close.
Yeah.
And then that overtime goal that they scored was just bounced the right way, right on in.
That was picture perfect for them.
It was
just
it could not have gotten better. It was great on their end. Terrible for us, really great for them. But let's talk about this Toronto game.
Let's. You know who scored that game?
Hold on. Say it first, then we'll tell the story after.
Trent Frederick got a goal that night against one of his good pals, Joseph Wall. That's all. That's all I want to say.
While Liv and I were on Something's Bruin podcast talking about Trent Frederick, and Lily and I were on a 20-second delay, and Mel and Liv are live as it happens, and they're whoa! And we're wait.
You were who scored? Who scored? Trent.
I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, that was that couldn't have been more picture perfect either.
The rest of our month is going to be so insane.
Winning streak. No, I'm kidding.
But yeah, that game was chaos. I hate losing to Toronto.
Yeah.
It is physically painful. It hurts. It hurts my soul. And I just want to talk to Sacco and the Bruins about empty net.
Let's just pause.
Once this season with an empty net. So this is my petition. I am petitioning to stop taking the goalie out of the game. It's It doesn't work. It doesn't work. No. It doesn't work. We are great when we at getting empty net goals ourselves.
Right.
It's really freaking great at getting scored on when we have an empty net. So can we please stop it?
I know. Like, I understand. Like, I feel they're obviously going to do it every time. But it's like, I'd prefer our chances literally when it's even. Because even power plays, we don't do well when we have a man advantage. So
we are 31st in the league.
That is terrible.
Our penalty kill is 25th in the league.
We're
still getting the cup.
Yeah, cup year.
Let's go.
Yeah. No, I'm kidding.
We are the champions. Anyway, so this is
yeah.
That game was chaos. There were moments too when I was like, "Oh, we've got it. We're making a comeback." But this is like the experience of Boston Bruins hockey lately. Is they are just like peak and valley, peak and valley, peak.
It is that meme where it's like, we're so back, it's so over. We've never been more back. It's over. It's so over. We're back. Like that one that's like.
And it's like there is no consistency from one game to another. There's no consistency from one period to another. You truly do not know what team is coming out of that tunnel from period to period, game to game. No. It's actually insane.
Yeah. You don't even know what you're getting. You don't even know what you're getting at practice. Let's be honest. No. You don't even know that much. This is the most inconsistent Bruins team I've seen in so long.
The only thing about the Bruins is that they're inconsistent. Yeah.
Yeah. Pin that. That needs to be a hit tweet, actually, because that's the only true thing ever right now.
It's really frustrating, and I'm sure they're frustrated as well. Again, we're girlies of the podcast. We don't play professional hockey. However, what? I used the wrong form of. Oh, yes.
Do you want to retype that?
Yeah.
Repost
that's funny. But and I'm sure they're frustrated as well. But it's also frustrating as a fan to. Like, you want to root for this team, right? And it's like the fans help create this community, help create this energy for the team, help create, like, this basis for these guys to, like, build off of as well. I think it's really hard. I will never not be a fan of the Bruins. I will be a Boston Bruins fan until I die.
Yeah.
You guys have seen the shelves. But it's really hard to help carry that momentum as a fan if you're walking into that arena, like knowing that you don't know what's going to happen, knowing that we're probably going to lose the next few games unless we go ham, which sometimes we also randomly do. Like, this is the thing. It's like this week we play the Oilers, Tampa, Florida. The rest of the month then is Tampa, Senators, Sharks, Devils, Senators, Avalanche, Bruins, Jets. Like, this is a heavy month for cup contenders that we're against. And sometimes we randomly show up and we are great against these contention teams. And then sometimes we show up and I guarantee we lose to the Sharks.
I was just going to say, we're going to get crushed.
It's also an afternoon game on a Monday, which is weird.
Celebrity's going to get like a Hattie.
Oh, entirely. Like, we don't show up against these teams that we should absolutely beat. The Rangers, the Islanders, are you kidding me? Those should have been in the bag, no problem.
Also, even though Toronto is really good and they're above us in the standings, it should just be a win. They're like, it's us versus the Leafs. It should just
be 4 years without giving them a win? We faced them twice this season and they've won both times.
And it's like been embarrassing.
Yeah.
I don't want to give them that much joy.
No. And Tampa, we play them twice in the next week. They are barely behind us in the standings. Yep. And realistically, they're not actually behind us because they've played less games than us. So, like, I already know we're not going to win against them because we're going to be in our heads the entire game and nobody's going to show up. And as a fan, like, it sucks to have that mentality, and I hate being this person. Like, if y'all have followed me at any point, you know that I am not the negative fan. Like, I'm the first one to call people out when they're being crazy negative psychopaths and be like, what are you talking about? Right. But, like, based on what the team has shown this year, we're going to beat the Oilers and then lose to Tampa.
Yeah.
That's going to be how the rest of the month goes. We're going to lose to the Sharks, and then we're going to beat the Avalanche.
You know, as long as we go to Florida and beat Florida.
It's an afternoon game, though.
Trent will score. That's all that matters. He really loves that. What did we call him the other day?
Weekend Warrior.
Yeah, Weekend Warrior.
Trent has scored 5 goals this week. I wish.
This upcoming
goals this week. And he scored 5 this season. 4 of them have been on Saturdays. Trent Hattie against the Panthers.
Never. Never that. Never that.
Trent Hattie against the Oilers.
Never that either.
I tried. Trent Hattie and Macklin Celebrini Hattie in the same game.
Sure. That's sure.
We want to do wild predictions. Let's go.
Yeah.
Trent Hattie against the Jets. I'd cry.
Trent not getting traded challenge. How about that? Can we do that? I'm kidding. My New Year's resolution is not going well. And cut. Okay.
I guess we haven't talked about Pat Maroon yet this episode.
Let me bring up Pat Maroon. No, I'm kidding.
Let's actually talk about the Winter Classic real quick, though.
And how it wasn't on New Year's Day.
I entirely thought it was until it was New Year's Day or New Year's Eve, and they're posting that the guys are getting ready for the game.
Yeah, I was very like, what are we it kind of ruined New Year's Day for me. Because again, I don't even know what football schedules are because I'm strictly only a hockey fan. Like literally I only know about the NHL and hockey in general. So any other sports that happen, I really just don't care. Sorry. So I only look forward to hockey. So the fact that there was who played that day? I'm pretty sure it was the Devils.
The Devils. Yeah.
Another red team or something that played on New Year's Day, and I was like, what is this yawn fest? This is not the Winter Classic. But
that's funny. It was the Devils and somebody. I'm looking it up 1 sec.
Yeah, and I was
the Devils and the Kings shut the Devils out 3-0.
Okay, so my bad, not another red team, but whatever.
Same thing. Totally fine.
Jack Hughes probably got a goal. Young.
No, it was 0. Kings won 3-0.
Oh, I heard you wrong. My bad, my fault.
The other big thing that happened this week, actually, like less than 24 hours ago, Team USA won World Juniors. That next sweep of guys that's entering the NHL this next year.
Nasty. Yeah.
We, I think, are about to have this, like, I think, like, Connor Bedard, Macklin Celebrini, Will Smith, Ryan Leonard, Gabe, last name I can't say, it starts with a P. You are about to have this huge wave of generational talent come through the NHL.
And then
it is going to change how these teams function.
Yeah.
And the Bruins don't have anybody. But that's okay. We have somebody coming in like 5 years that will change the game.
For sure. Yeah.
But you have this huge wave of generational talent that I truly, truly believe is going to change how the game is played in the NHL, and you're going to have to change how these teams function.
So much faster, for one.
Yes. I think you have like this little bit with like Pasta's kind of draft year. And I think you're about to see it really big within like the next 2-3 group of guys that are about to enter from college. I think it's about to be huge changes that are coming up for these teams.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I think also to that, you kind of just made me think of, in a way, I think where transitioning out of, I don't think you're going to see many power forwards, and I don't think you're going to see many, what's the word? Oh my gosh. What is the word? When they're like just a fighter.
Enforcer?
Yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Someone like roast me for that. How did I not remember that? I don't think we're going to see a lot, because even the enforcers that we're seeing right now is literally Matt Rempe. Who is a moron, because you're not even doing it smart. Like you're not even, I don't know. You're not doing what you think.
Rant about that situation. I think also, it's up to 6.
We are entering the golden age of America.
I truly think we are. I think there is going to be like a big shift, and I'm excited for it. I also think that it has truly rejuvenated people's interest in college hockey as well. I'm so excited for what is going to happen. I think Ryan Leonard is going to be a problem in like the best way. I think he's going to the Avalanche. No, Capitals. A team. He's going to a team. I think he's going to be a problem in like the best way possible for them. And I'm jealous. As like a Boston hockey fan, I'm excited to like see him play out the rest of his year with college, but like not excited for him to enter the NHL next year and beat our asses constantly.
Yeah. Should be interesting.
All right, Liv, let's wrap it up with crazy predictions for the week. We've got 3 games.
Okay. Tomorrow, what did I say? 5-3, 5-2. We're going to win 5-2.
You've got a 5-2 win against the Oilers tomorrow. Yeah. I think we're going to lose. I just can't. I don't think it's going to be a shutout.
No.
I'm going to give it to Mason. I'm going to say that Mason scores tomorrow.
Okay.
So many good looks yesterday. There were a few times where he like, I'm going to give it to Mason.
Okay. You do that. Hopefully you're right. You're like your little.
There was one shot he had, and I think it might have been in overtime. I thought it was going.
Every time they put him in overtime, I'm like.
But he's just such a little nugget. I just want to pinch his cheeks.
A nugget. He's 6'5". No, I'm kidding.
I'm totally aware. I just want to pinch his cheeks.
No, that's so valid. Him on Behind the Bee getting.
I'm also an old lady, okay? Leave me alone.
Yeah, he's like, he can be like your little kid. You're adopted.
A puppy dog. Like, it's just so cute. God, I'm such a girl. Anyway.
Yeah. Watch it. You might be called a puck bunny. Oh, no. So then we play Tampa.
Girls, let's uplift each other who like hockey. Okay, anyway. God, that was so infuriating.
Anyway.
Tampa on Thursday. In Tampa. Oh, man, I could go to this game. I'm not driving.
Oh my gosh, you should. You should go. Show face. Show face for Chirping on Causeway.
I'm not going to drive 6 hours to watch them lose. It's not worth my dignity.
So if we want to start a GoFundMe for Emily's gas money to get there.
My Venmo and my Cash App are in my Twitter bio. Feel free. You also would have to pay for my husband's ticket because I'm not doing that trip alone.
Yeah, right. That's true. I think we're going to get – listen, Because when we'll probably record on the 13th, so only 3 games. So
yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go win.
I'm gonna go loss, win against the Panthers.
I just want us to, you know what?
We've lost against them twice already this year, haven't we? We have to beat them at some point.
I don't care how many penalties we take that game. I don't care about any rules. I'm done with the Florida Panthers. I'm done. Do whatever you want to them. I actually don't care because you're going to get called on breathing the wrong way anyways when we play.
And when you only get a $5,000 fine for punching somebody in the face in the middle of a play, because that's the biggest fine allowable, which doesn't make sense considering these guys make millions of dollars a year and you're going to charge them $5,000, which is truly $5,000, and it's just a drop in the bucket for them. Anyway.
Literally. So
my favorite part about that is it wasn't even Bruins fans complaining this week about the punch. Everybody was complaining. I love to see it.
I love when people actually are like, oh yeah, the Panthers are dirty. No duh.
Yeah. And that's, speaking of like good third and fourth lines, I hate to give them any credit, but that is like a good example of a team that truly has depth in their third and fourth lines. That, like, do I want to mimic their playing style? No. But would I like to mimic their depth in their lines? Yes. Do I hate all of their players? Absolutely.
Yeah. And here's what's crazy is that they don't even have to play the way they do. You're talented enough.
Yes.
Just play the game.
Yes.
And be tough. Do checks. Fight people. Absolutely. That's part of the game. That's part of the game that I love. But the dirty extracurriculars that just don't have a place in this game, and for some reasons, the refs think they do when it comes to the Panthers, though I have no idea why.
Yeah.
Just play your game. You are a talented team. Maurice is a talented coach, clearly. Yes. They clearly have good assistants. Like, you're a good team. You don't have to even be dirty. And for me to call them a good team is gross to me.
But they truly are. Like, it's actually insane the talent that they have. Same with, like, Tampa Bay Lightning. Like,
yeah,
I do not like either of these teams just on basis of the teams themselves. But these two teams truly have talent. And the annoying part about Tampa Bay is they trade out their talent so quickly and so easily.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually insane to me how many of their players that won Stanley Cups with them 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago. I don't know anymore. The last Stanley Cup that they won do not play for that team anymore.
Yeah.
Pat Maroon being one of them. Gotta have the Pat Maroon mention. Had to do it.
Yeah, but seriously though.
It's actually insane.
Yeah.
So yeah, Liv says wins all week. I say loss against the Oilers. Ugh, Tampa Bay could truly go either way. I honestly believe
it could go either way though.
I'll go win for that. And I'll go win for the Florida Panthers because we have to beat them at some point.
We do. And I don't want to play them in the playoffs ever again.
What bad luck.
Yeah.
I don't like them.
No thanks.
Anything else for this week, Liv?
Other
than the fact that we are captains of chaos, and this entire episode was basically just us ranting whatever came to our brains.
Yeah, God forbid we get angry on here. Oh my goodness.
Thank you for sticking with us this episode. If y'all are watching, if you've made it to this point, thank you for sticking through the chaos.
Yeah, we really said negative all day. Sorry.
Ugh.
Hopefully we made you laugh a couple times though.
I hope so. I hope our egregious takes and absolutely insane predictions bring you joy in your life.
Gives a little,
When Mason Lohrei scores this week, I would like a huge "I told you so" I'm going to make a graphic. You guys,
read it.
Make a graphic. My graphics are great. I'm going to make one specifically that said "I told you so," and it's just going to have Mason's face on it. I'm going to have it ready.
Yeah.
Mason, if you watch this, please support. Please. I have a shirt with Brad's face and with Sway's face. I'll get one with Mason's face on it if he scores. I truly will get a Mason low-rise. I think I've worn it on the pod before. Like, I have a shirt with, like, 6 of Brad Marchand on it and, like, 6 of Jeremy Swayman. I will get a Mason low-rise one if he scores this week.
They have a Mason shirt. I actually have it. I think I got it on Etsy. It's called Bayou Power. And it's, pictures of Mason.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one.
This week, I will buy a T-shirt.
Yeah. Okay, we'll hold it to it, guys. If
somebody clip this
way, here we go. Whoops! I forget this isn't mirrored, so I have to actually go, the right way.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's all I have for this week, though. Yeah.
Same. Thanks for sticking with us this week, guys. It's
we'll see you next week.
Next week we'll be back to our regular schedule. Our regular shenanigans, our regular discussing things in an orderly fashion. We just had a lot of opinions from the last 2 weeks that we needed to share.
Yeah. Send us questions, messages, hit us up, Where can
they find you if they want to chat, Liv?
You can find me on Twitter at FrentFrederick.
Wonderful. You can find me at HyperEmmy on Twitter, Instagram, wherever your little heart desires, just about anywhere. We do have shirts and sweatshirts available on our shop, bscn617.square.site. Our sweatshirts are super freaking comfortable. Definitely get one of those. We also have other podcasts within our sports network that you should support. They cover the Celtics, the Patriots, and the Red Sox. Feel free to check them out on our website, which is also bscn617.square.site. Other than that, you can find the pod on Twitter and Instagram at Causeway Chirps, and you can find Boston Sports Entertainment Network at BSCN_617 on both as well.
Yes.
Fun things coming up soon, guys. We're excited. We will be back.
Yeah.
Next Monday. We'll be here.
We'll see you.
Bye.
Bye.
What happens after a Boston Bruin win as Jeremy Swayman and Lena Zolmark have their trademark celebration.